Hello and welcome to my first podcast. I'm your host Max Ruck, and today you're listening to There's No Too Early. Well, you might have heard that before, that many people say regardless of what you do, there's never gonna be a too early. You can always get things done earlier than they need to be done. And that's something I haven't achieved during the last week in relation to my podcast. If you listened a couple of times, maybe on and off, or you're one of those true weekly listeners, you might have noticed last week that the episode didn't publish at 11 a.m. German time as it usually does, and it did for all the previous episodes. Last week it did launch and publish sometime in the evening. And I know I have that weekly commitment, and I made that weekly commitment happen, but I didn't make it happen on time. And the reason was because I pushed everything off until the last minute. Giving back the old apartment, going to the gym, and then getting back home to do the episode was feasible. I could do that, but then there was things out of my control which I should have been aware of, like the slower internet we have now in the new apartment, which literally takes ages, hours, maybe even half days to upload an episode to the different channels, especially if there's video involved, as in last week's episode. And that's something I have to factor in and make sure I give myself a buffer. I'm capable of putting that in, but I also didn't have any structure. So usually in mostly Thursday, Friday evenings, before on Saturday the next episode was released, I sat down and thought about a topic I can talk about. Created a presentation, if you have seen it on YouTube, or now lately recorded the video. And I had in my mind to structure first what I want to talk about, and then create that episode, do all the works afterwards, creating the video, artwork for the cover, for YouTube, Facebook, and then upload it, schedule it, do the episode notes. And I had structures in place for make that simpler and easier and quicker to be done, but I had no structure for the episode itself, the content, to know which dates, what date that's next Saturday for the next, let's say, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, which I think is a good timing to be in up front, should be. What's the content I want to talk about? What's the title of it? So that structure, it's not in place yet. So I always pushed it into the last minute, until that last corn run through that clock. I pushed it way too long off, and that's what I'm doing right now again. It's 10 p.m. in the evening on Friday, and that episode is released tomorrow at 11. It's tough timing, but this time I have done something to make that one count. I'm starting to use my strengths. I'm performing well under pressure. I can use that pressure to get things done quicker and even in a better quality. It's something I have learned over the years. I'm not looking into every small little piece to make everything perfect if I'm under the pressure. That makes things in the long run even better, because I don't keep tidying things on that end, pushing it from the other side on that end, changing the angle on that side, which at the end doesn't make it any better, it's just making it different. So I'm using that strength now for me to get ahead. And getting something way ahead done will make me push to use that strength even further. I also started to put a plan in place. I'm using a Mind Web software where on the left side I'm gonna have the episodes I have already completed. On the right side I have marked out the episodes for the next 6 weeks pretty much. And out of those 6 weeks, which is like 6 episodes, I have one episode a week, so it's 6 episodes. I have 3 already marked out with the content, so I'm gonna work on them. And every time I'm gonna complete one, I will add a new one going forward and already create the topic of it, or at least the title, which will make me think of the content for it. Or make a few bullet points, which I done on a few other episodes. Put bullet points in what I want to talk about and then come up with the title later on. So that's the plan I will put in place, and I already started putting in place, and I'm already using to work on getting ahead, to make sure that's not gonna happen again, that the episode is not on iTunes at least at 11 a.m. and on the other platforms during the day. So I'm working on that. I'm improving that. And I know I will always struggle with it for the time being. But putting that structure in place will help me to potentially get further than I am right now. And keep it up, improve myself, and put that also in other areas of my life. So the small thing I told you why I make it count today to record that episode last minute is one simple trick I'm gonna use going forward. I'm not gonna start with the next thing. And that might sound silly for you, but what I mean by that is, if I have 1 or 2 or even more at a later stage episodes I had done, which from looking back from last week, I had no episodes recorded in advance. So from last week, when I was too late, I forced myself to get the episode for in 2 weeks done first. So I completed that episode first, and then, and only then, I moved on to the current one. And that's why I make it count to have that done last minute, because that already builds that buffer for next Saturday, which is actually the Saturday after my birthday, which I want to use to play golf with an old friend I played soccer with. So I'm sure I'm gonna talk with you about that in a later episode, and that's where I already have that buffer in. I won't need to do anything there because I have already prepared it, and that's what the goal will be going forward. From now, in 3 weeks time, the next episode is the one I need to record. But I'm not gonna going forward to record the next one. I'm gonna record 2 in advance rather than 1, and when I have that done, I obviously will go to the next one to make sure it's released on time. But that will always give me that 1 episode of buffer. And when I have more time, like during vacations or holidays, I'm gonna be able to keep that up. Go 2 ahead, then do another one. Go 2 ahead, do another one. And that will always improve my buffer going forward. And I will always have at least that 1 week in between, which will help me if there's something coming up, which I always can. So in that way, I keep it a bit more flexible as well. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna start from, I think, last week onwards. I'm gonna have a video podcast, and I have a presentation underlining. So if you're watching, listening in, using YouTube, you're gonna see that 1 episode will be with a presentation underlying, like today's episode, and another one will be with a video. Video will be done either by myself or with a guest, what I have done before. So Stephanie, my partner, she will come on more often going forward. We're gonna talk about things, related to our life together, our relationship, or things, events, experience we've gone through together, or we both had experienced those things, so we can both shine some light onto it, or talk about the experience the way how we seen that experience. Although it was the same, we may have seen it in different way because we're two different personalities. So that's what it will be going forward as well, to keep it more flexible and more interesting as well for us recording it, and for you listening or watching it. So what you can take out of that episode, and what I take out of that experience, is there's no too early. If it's something which is an episode in a year time, obviously if I don't have this week or 2 weeks done, it might seem early to have that episode recorded. But if it's something for that specific point or for that specific time I feel about strongly right now, and I can take that passion onto that episode, that excitement to do it right now, regardless of what the event will be. Maybe my 30th birthday at some point, gonna be really excited about, and I'm gonna record that episode for, because it will actually be a Saturday, so there's going to be an episode coming out on that specific day. So if I feel really excited about it, I'm gonna record that, maybe even a couple of months, half a year before the actual event, just because I want to take that excitement into that day, because I think it will be a great day. So you can always do that yourself as well. If you feel excited for getting something done, also that's miles away for you right now, do it, tick it off, and that's it. We have it done, and you can focus on other things. It will fall off your shoulder, and you can always, if it's a bigger goal, smaller steps to get there, help yourself with a structure. Put a structure in place to get things done. You wouldn't want someone building your house without a structure, with no structure in place. You don't want to have the builders coming up, building your house, and they're gonna start with the roof. You want them to bring a structure, to start at the bottom, go up all the way, and do all the checks in between to make sure everything is perfectly mapped out, completed on time, at the right time, when deliveries come in, and everything else. But in so many places in life, we just go by the day. We're not really putting a structure in place, and just live by every day. And then we are wondering why things go wrong, why things don't go the way we expect them to go. And mainly that's because we haven't planned enough for it. And if we don't have the plan put into place at the right time, then nothing will work the right way. So what we have to do to avoid it is simply using our strengths. And with this trick, I'm tricking myself into getting more done before it's actually needed, and before it is too late. And it can be too late quickly. So make sure you put something in place you can use for yourself, which benefits you to get the things done early. Because you're better too early than you are too late. That's it for me today. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Max Röck, and until next time.